Yeah, good afternoon, dear viewers. Um, today, today's tutorial will be laying on programming languages, and as you can see, my name is Owere Freds, student of Kampala International University, pursuing bachelor's degree in computer science with education, majoring in the fields of geography and computer. So as I said earlier on, today we shall talk about programming languages. Before we continue, um, let us see the learning objectives, whereby by the end of this chapter, student or we shall be able to 1. Identify different terms or define different terms like program, computer programming, programming languages, and among others. So by the end of this, we are supposed to have known how to define those key terms. Also, we shall talk about the types and levels of programming languages, and lastly, we shall be talking about the advantages and disadvantages of programming languages. So those three will be our learning objectives. The outcomes by the end, at the end of this lesson, students shall be able to, here after this lesson, we shall be able to define different terms as in programming languages, elaborate on different types of programming languages, and also identify different advantages and disadvantages of programming language. Let us begin by defining these terms. Here we can see a program, and it says that a program is an organized list of statements or instructions that when executed can cause the computer to behave in predetermined manner or carry out a defined tasks. A program, before I continue, let me bring this into our understanding that for a computer to do something or to perform certain task, there should be a program designed to perform that task. For example, the apps that we used, e.g. WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, and among others, they were designed and developed using a program that was designed to execute that sending, receiving, chatting, video calling, and among others. So it is the program that directs what that app will do. Then another term, as we said, we have computer programming, which refers to the process of developing computer instructions or programs used to solve a particular task. So for computer programming as a term here, we are seeing when you have the program, how do you bring that program into existence? It is through computer programming. So you bring the program and you use it to program a computer, and in that process it is computer programming. Then we have programming languages, where it is the environment that provides a programmer a site to program. So programming language, this is a site, it's an environment that provides a programmer a site to a program. So here it is where a programmer programs a program. For us to understand this, we are supposed to know that program is programmed during computer programming, and what helps in programming that program is a programming language. We have levels of programming languages, where we have low level languages and high level language. We are going to look at it all in details and we shall understand more. Let us begin with low-level language. Here we are seeing that these languages are classified as low because they can be directly or easily be understood by the computer with little effort to translate into computer understandable form. As we continue, we realize that a computer has a language that it understands. And somewhere when we reach, you realize that the language that we speak, a computer cannot understand. A computer has its own language that it understands. So when we speak or when we enter, for example, a sentence that reads, I will go to school tomorrow. Computer does not understand it in that way. Therefore, there should be something to translate it to a computer understandable language. So we shall get to know it when we continue. But here in low-level language, we are seeing that it is directly understood by a computer, does not need to be translated, to be interpreted, compiled, and others. So it is directly understood. Another one here that we have to know is these languages are hardware oriented and therefore they are not portable. When we talk of hardware oriented here, we are seeing that if there are three computers, computer A, computer B, computer C, the language, the low-level language of computer A is specifically for computer A. For B is specifically for computer B, likewise to C. So you can't use the language of A in B. It is directly designed for specific computer. And here we can see also they are not portable. So you can't, something portable, that means it is flexible. You can use it here, there, and so on. But now since here we are saying that you can use the program, the language of A in computer A, so you can't use it in computer B. That is all about with the low-level language. So let us see also the types of low-level language. Here we have two types of low-level language: machine language and assembly language. So let us talk about machine language. We are seeing that machine language is a first generation language. It was the first to come out in computer programming. In developing apps, programming systems, programming, commanding computer to do something, the first language that was used was machine language. So in this language, instructions are written using binary logic. In mathematics, you remember you studied all about binary digits, those things of figures and so on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, those are binary digits. But now here for binary logic, we talk of zeros and ones. The 0 and 1, whereby a computer understands that language of zeros and ones. Remember I told you that the English that we speak, a computer cannot understand. So the language of computer, which is binary language in zeros and ones, it is the one that computer understands. And if you speak your English, for example, I will go there tomorrow, there is something that interprets. It is called interpreter or compiler that interprets to computer from our normal languages to machine language, which is zeros and ones. Let us see also here a program written in this language look like this. You can see 111 000 110. So you will come to understand that if you interpret this in English, it has a really word that it means. But now computer cannot understand that English, therefore it is only this that computer can understand. The program code is hard for humans to understand, but it is easily understood by computer. It is really, and it is true, that this language, this machine language here under low-level language, it is hard for someone to understand. Looking at this point, the fourth one, you can see 111 000 110. So for you to understand, if you just have a look at it, you cannot understand very fast, but a computer understands it. So when you're running program using this language, machine language, really it is hecticable, it is difficult, and it is tiresome because you will not understand easily. You have to cram, and perhaps at times you might not fully understand anything. So that is all about the machine language. We say it's the first generation. It comprises of binary logic, which is zeros and ones, and that we are seeing 1 1 0 zeros. That is how they write it. Let us talk about assembly language. For assembly language, it was a second generation language, and this language is close to machine vocabulary rather than the human being's vocabulary, and also it uses abbreviation. Now, assembly language was developed to help solve the problem of machine language. Remember, for the machine language, it is hard to understand because it reuses binary digits. But here, when you come to assembly language, it has abbreviations. E.g., you can see gross pay minus tax is equal to net pay. For those who are paid, for example, by government, they know that thing, whereby gross pay is what you're supposed to get all, but when you subtract tax that is imposed on each and every employee, the balance is net pay, and that's what you get. So for other assembly language, here we use the abbreviation. If you can be able to see from the if you can be able to see that photo clip that is on the top the right top corner of the slide, you can see that there are some abbreviations there that when you programming you use, so that you can bring out a program that perhaps you had organized to develop. So here the assembly language is just a second generation. It uses abbreviation, and the example is there. So we have talked about the two types of low-level language, whereby we have a machine language which uses binary digits, which is ones and zeros, and assembly language which uses abbreviation, and the example I've given there. And if you want to find more about, you go to that photo clip on the top right of the slide, and you will come to know that it is all abbreviation. Let us talk about the advantages and disadvantages of low-level language. We said the CPU understands machine language directly without translation. Remember, I said that our computers have their language, which is zeros and ones. If you remember the machine language, that is the language, as I said, of the computer. So since low-level machine language falls under low-level language, therefore the first advantage of low-level language is that the CPU understands machine language directly without translation. So you can the CPU can understand this without translation because it is all about digits, binary, which computer understands very fast. They are suitable and hardly crash or break down once written. Why does actually it does not break down, and why? Or crash? Why? Because, as I said, a low-level language of computer A is not used in computer B. Every computer is designed with a language. That's why we had in certain explanation that it is hardware oriented. Therefore, if computer A is using its language, computer B therefore is also using its language, therefore you will find that there will not be interchanging of language that may cause the crashing and breaking down after being written. And next is running a program is fast because there is no compilation needed. Remember, you will get to know that in high level language, which is another level or type of programming language where we use our normal English. Here, when you type, for example, how are you, it will take time for interpreter that interprets or compiler that compiles what you have written to change it to machine language. It will take time, as I said. Therefore, if it will even need a storage, a memory location to store that, which one will be slow. The running of the program will be slow, and secondly, it will consume much storage. Now here in low level, whereby machine understands directly, it will not take time, because there will not be chance of maybe computer to fail to understand, which will call for the interpretation and compilation, which will take time. Therefore, running program is so fast because it does not call for compilation and interpretation. Then another one, they are economical in terms of amount of memory use. As I said, that in this language does not call for compilation, compared to high level language, whereby there should be amount of a specific amount of memory gazetted somewhere for compilation and interpretation to be done. So those are some of the advantages of low level languages. So let us talk about the disadvantages, and the first one is they are difficult and cumbersome to use and learn. Remember, we said that in machine language it is all about digits and binary digits, zeros and ones. So it isn't really hard or difficult to understand that 11100 11 3 times and 00 3 times and 11 2 times and 00 2 times means something. You can't really know that it means this in our normal English, so it is difficult to understand. The same applies to abbreviation in assembly language. If you're not contented enough with it, it is not easy to understand. Therefore, it brings us to this point that they are difficult and cumbersome to use. Next, it requires highly trained experts to both develop and maintain. After developing a language, it should be maintained so that it can acquire the existing trend of the world. So during maintenance and developing, it needs highly trained expert to know, whereby if you're not trained, you can't understand anything. Debugging program is difficult. Yes, debugging it is difficult, which makes the program difficult to be understood by programmers and also by the maintainers, those who will maintain the program. They are machine dependent and they are long. Remember, I told you, if machine A is using a program, it will use for machine A. Machine A can't use program machine B. Therefore, it is machine dependent. We are done with the low level language. Let us talk about high level language. We said high level language. The languages are very close to human language, as you can see in bracket, English wise, and they can be read and understood even by people who are not experts in programming. As you can see, as I explained, that in low level language here it uses digits and so on, compared to here in high level language, whereby it is just a normal English. These languages are machine independent. As I told you, language that is installed in computer A can be also used in computer B, C, and among others. So here the languages are English wise, are just our language that can be understood by someone, and also the languages are machine independent. One language can be used in maybe 100 devices or computers. Let us talk about the advantages of high level language. The programs are portable, not machine dependent. As I told you, the language can be used, one language can be used in maybe 100 devices or computers. They are user friendly and easy to learn. Since it is just the normal English that we use, it is really user friendly. They are more flexible. Why? Because one language can be used in different computers, so it is flexible. They provide better documentation. In documentation, you know, after designing a program, you have to document it. Document is a piece of instruction or piece of information that written on, for example, paper, that explain how maybe something was developed, how the steps, the process. So writing the steps, the process, and how to use this program is easy. Therefore, it provides a better documentation. They are easy to debug and requires less time to code. Since it is just English that we use, it will really require less time to code. Let us try to also see the disadvantages of high-level languages. We have program execute slowly, or program executed more slowly, because remember, it needs to be compiled and interpreted. Require larger CPU storage. During process of compiling and interpretation, the codes should be stored somewhere. Therefore, it require a large capacity. They have to be translated to machine readable form before computer can execute. Remember, it is normal English that computer cannot understand. Therefore, a computer is supposed to wait until it is translated for it to understand, which takes time. So that thing brings us to some of the terms again that we are to talk about here. And I told you we have, for example, compiler, which brings us to compilation, compiling, and so on. But mainly it is compiler. The compiler is I can call is a platform in a programming language that enables compilation of a language from high level to low level. Let me make it clear. Low level is the one that is understood by machine. Specifically, it is machine language that is understood. High level can't be understood. But now we bring these two things that interpret. One, we have compiler. It compiles, and it compiles at a go. For example, it can get the whole codes, then it compiles at a go for a machine to understand. Then interpreter, the interpreter interprets the code step by step. It does not interpret at a go compared to compiler. Then the difference between compiler and interpreter is that interpreter compiles a step by step, then compiler compiles at once at a go. So where does compiler and interpreter fall? It is here now in high level language. Or where is it used? It is in high level language, so that it can make the machine to understand. When after you entering your English, for example, will be there, the interpreter interprets it to a machine language that a machine can understand. So that is all about what we should also get to know from there. In conclusion, let us see. Programming languages are the foundation of software development to communicate with computers and create application systems and solutions for various domains. Yeah, it is a programming language that helps us to develop our computer, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, and among others. Next time, when we perhaps maybe meet again, the next meeting, we shall see how we use this programs to maybe a code a program. We use these languages to code a program, to come out with a program, to develop an app, and among others. And also what we should know that we have a lot of languages in high level language. I think I didn't talk about, but we have a lot, whereby we have the Python, the Java, the C, C++, we have Perl, we have PHP, and among others. There are a lot that we shall get to know how they are used with the time. That is it all. Then the takeaway question, so that when we meet, you will be posting them, so that I can see how to mark. One, what do we understand by the following? We have programming language, computer programming, and secondly we shall explain two levels of programming languages. Then lastly, identify advantages and disadvantages of different levels of programming languages stated above. So the levels that we shall talk about in number 2, we shall give the disadvantages and advantages in number 3 of them. So thank you very much. I like it and subscribe. Thank you and bye.